I'm Jason Lawner, and this is the first time that I get to teach in the public coffee roasters space. So it's good to be with you live on Facebook. We're going to get right into this and be kind of just a get moving, a get breathing, a get familiar with the new space. So take a moment just to sit up tall. So sit in a way that you're comfortable. And especially, as the teacher coming into a new space, there's always this, learning the nuance, learning the routine, learning where things are, how things flow properly, and that to give yourself a moment to cultivate sensitivity for that. As you sit up tall, close your eyes, take a few breaths. And with the eyes closed, your hearing, your other senses will hopefully take over. Noticing the pulse of your breathing, making those adjustments and improvements to your posture so that you're sitting as tall as you can be, but with a sense of ease. And that ease brings in that sensitivity. So the skin is soft, so the breath is fluid. One big inhale and exhale. And then fold the hands together in front of your heart. You can join me. 3 ohms in one round of the invocation. Take a deep breath. Into your heart you can bow. And then release your hands. And we'll start on all fours, on hands and knees. Take wide apart. And to move the of your hands, gently move around. So with sensitivity, your hands are holding the floor, trying to keep them steady and strong. You can start changing the hand position, going narrow or wide, different directions. If you bring your hands closer to your knees, it's a little easier, and vice versa. And go slow enough that you're aware of your breath, that you're keeping your breathing moving. Take the back of the hands to the floor. Alternate different directions here on this one. Maybe moving through the neck and the shoulders, checking in with your body. And then a quick shake out, place your hands, make your way into your first downward facing dog. Moving with your breath, as if you're following your breathing as you stretch back through one leg and then the other. Holding good strength in your fingers and your arms so the arms stay more lifted as you add that stretch. Take both of your heels, tip them over to the right, little side stretch there. Just kind of feel into the back muscles, the side of your body, wherever you feel some stretch, some restriction. And then take it the other way, heels to the left. And then all the way back to center. Walk your feet from there to the front of your mat. Bending your knees, you can take your feet as wide as you need to so you're in a comfortable forward fold here. Make the feet heavy, the heels, all 10 toes. Nice big breath in. And then release the neck and the shoulders deeper into that fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. You can look forward. You can come up really high here. And then on the exhale, follow it back down. Just get that to really sync with your breath. Inhale, as you reach forward, thighs move back. And then as you exhale, long and all the way over. One more like that. Inhale. And exhale. Step your right leg back into a lunge. Pause to press your feet down and come up. Find your steady lunge. When you're ready, you can take your arms up over your head. Keeping the feet firm against the floor, but let your hips settle so that you're not so length to press down and out through your legs to then turn your heart up towards the ceiling. Good. Bring the hands back to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Follow your breath. On the inhale, go forward, plank position. And as you exhale all the way down, point the toes, anchor your feet into the floor, and just start to slither your way up into a little gentle back bend. If you press your toes down enough, the kneecaps should lift, the thighs should be tight, and a lot of time, and that'll help to stabilize your back. Good. And then go back, downward facing dog. Lift your right leg to the sky. Step that foot forward. Take your time to come up, second side. And so going slow, it gives you a little extra time to feel what's happening, to be settled, to be kind of connected to all your parts. When you're ready, when you feel secure here, take the arms to the sky, press down through your legs, and that rooting into the floor, use that to rise up even taller through the spine, to reach for it. Good. Bring the hands to the floor. Again, back, downward facing dog. Nice and smooth, nice and easy. Go forward, plank pose. Down as you exhale. Anchor the toenails down and come up cobra. You can move a little. We're just getting things loose. And then back, downward facing dog. Make your way to the front of your mat. You can walk, you can jump. And then bow. Root your legs down. This time, lift your chest, but come all the way up to stand. Take that big, tall stretch at the top. And even hold here, firm your legs, press your floor heavier. See if you can lift up taller. You can kind of reach through one arm a little more. Try to keep that. Add the other arm. Even adding this into twists. You can take the option where you hold a wrist, but think about it's the way that you're moving the hips and pressing down gives this big opening. And then right back to center. Big inhale. Bow forward and touch the floor. Take your right leg back into a lunge. Come on up. Again, make sure your feet, you feel that firm, heavy foundation, then arms to the sky. Sensitivity, even in the eyes. If you can make your eyelids a little softer, I swear, it changes an element of how the pose feels. Press the legs down, add that stretch. You can lean back, you can open up, keep lifting your heart, your chest up towards the sky. This time we're going to come down for a twist. So right or in line, take the left arm up and turn, open twist. Instead of just trying to crank your hand back, try to broaden the shoulders, the chest apart. Take your head back even more. So no matter how far you go, you should always be able to look up and see your fingers. It shouldn't be a strain on the neck. Take your back knee down to the floor. Keep the twist though. See if you can lean back a little more. Start pressing the hips down and forward. Keep the hips low. Lift through belly and chest even more. Good. Bring the hands down. So both hands now down inside your front foot. You can walk your hands a little off to the side. See if you can go forward, deeper into the legs. Maybe you come down on an elbow. So generally, if you get your right arm down, that's kind of easy, and that'll. And then you even more come up on the right arm, on the right fingers. Even more challenging. See if you can take your hand off the floor and still feel settled. Still be able to surrender deep into that front hip and leg. Enjoy one more full breath. Awesome. And then back to downward facing dog. You have your option to move smoothly through that vinyasa plank pose. Chaturanga. Anchor the feet, cobra or up dog. And then back to down dog. Take the right leg to the sky, step through lunge. Make your way up. And the steadiness does require some strength. So you can use things like squeezing your legs together, trying to really lift strong through the back knee. And that strength, you then give that rooted energy to plug down through your legs, rise up through the chest and open. And then down for the twist. Left hand to the floor in line with your front foot. Take your right arm up. And breathe into the sides of your ribs and waistline. Maximize that internal space as you tip back, as you twist, and it even adds this back bend in that pose. From there, all you're going to do is lower the back knee down to the mat. Keep the twist deeper into the lunge. Take the hips forward and down. And use the arm just as an extension of the length that you're giving in your spine. Both hands to the floor inside your front foot. And then work to whatever version, whatever depth works for you. Sometimes people think of, like you're good at yoga when the pose is deep, but it's really when you're able to hold whatever these challenges are, and asana classes, it's like physical stuff, but it's can you hold with sensitivity as you're in this pose. It's not all force, but it's also not totally lazy. It's tuned in. It's you paying attention. Really kind of nuanced ways of holding these actions. As you anchor your pelvis down, stretch your belly forward, and then back to downward dog pose. You can rest here, or you can pass through that vinyasa to plank, to chaturanga, cobra, and up and down dog. Bend the knees, walk or jump to the front. Belly in as you fold. And then ground your legs, lift your chest all the way to stand. Good. Release the arms down. Feet hip distance. If you want to go narrower, go for it. Bend your knees, sit back into a little squat. Draw your belly in as you inch your hips back, and then you can lift taller. The arms can change position. You have all the options that you've ever wanted to do here. This is the mildest. This can help you. If you're pushing down on your legs, try to snap your hips back. You're pushing your hands towards your knees. Keep the breath smooth. Make the eyes a little softer while you hold steady, while you hold strong. One more. Inhale. Good. Exhale and fold. This time, so you're in a lunge. Take the back knee down to the floor. Come up, find your balance here. So right foot should be in front. I like the back toes creates. You can do it both ways. But if you pull in, now you're going to press the hips forward so you bend that front knee and ankle more. Then see if you can lean back a little. Belly in, waistline tall. Take the arms up and stretch. Now on the inhales, see if you can lean back and open a little more. As you exhale, see if you can push your hips down into the pose. And then just keep kind of washing through it. They can be very subtle movements. Inhaling as you curl and open back. You got to hold the strength as you exhale to get heavier. You want to go even wilder as your hips start to get close to the floor. You can sweep big circle, arms out and down by your sides, hands behind your hips, chest to the sky. And if you can lunge down enough, fingertips can touch the floor. Instead of like rounding and coming forward, it's this big lifted, big open-hearted version. Good. Take it back to down dog. Just a nice deep breath here. Left leg to the sky. Step forward, that low lunge. Back knee down as you come up. Press down with the front heel. Drag that back knee forward into that stability. Start to lunge. Kind of like even doing it with a little help from my hands to push yourself in there. Then lift and open. Arms can go up. And again, imagine that as your hips move down, you keep that very radiant heart, chest straight up to the sky, and the head actively reaching back the deeper you go. On the exhales, see if you can send the hips forward. There's even a settling that helps you get there. On the inhale, though, stay active, stay lengthened all the way out through the fingertips. You can do that extra piece where you sweep the arms out and down by your sides. It's hard to do this because you got to be deep in this lunge. You got to get almost like you're sitting onto your front ankle, like good squat shape. And then pelvis down, chest up even more. Good. Hands to the floor, back to downward dog. Inhale your way to plank pose. Exhale as you lower. Up dog or cobra. And downward dog. Step let's go left foot to the front. And then parallel to each other so you're in a wide stance. Take a forward fold from there. Give some power to your feet. So you're pressing down with the heels, with the toes. And then if you move your hips like a little forward and a little back, that will focus the stretch in different spots. The kind of idea here is to get the heels to stay really heavy, as if you're feeling like you're snapping your heels back, but then forward until heels. Just giving a chance for the legs to get warm. Hold the legs strong and tight, but never at the expense of your breathing. There's always like a little bit of softness, a little bit of settling. Good. Turn let's go right foot over to the right 90 degrees. Bend that knee, but swing your hips back and apart, like you're trying to now take the hips behind the hips. Firm up your legs, especially that back leg, as you widen the hips back, as you try to get your back leg, the straight thigh, higher, and then drive down and out through both legs. You can bend a little deeper into the front leg, sit lower in that right hip, but try to move your leg towards the left foot. You're stretching the bones out of your hips. You can try to take the head down to the floor, but get your butt to lift higher. One more nice full breath. Good. And then turn the right foot in, turn the left foot out to go to the other side. Same idea, widen your hips apart and then try to sit in deeper. And so like the physical practice just becomes like another stressful thing that we do and try to manage well. And the yoga is in that kind of skillful way that we are able to hold ourselves, to engage whatever challenge we may find. Sit down into the left leg, and as if you could stretch the thigh bones away from each other, out through your hips and down into the floor. One more breath. Excellent. And then back to center, up to stand. Let's do right foot out again. So this time warrior two. You're going to bend the knee so it's a square. You can make adjustments in your stance. Always easier to move the back leg because this guy is more weight bearing. And then once you get there, see if you, by the actions you do, you can make your back leg more weight bearing. So firm it up, press it down, even try to settle and let go in this front hip. Arms up, nice tall. And look out over those right fingertips. And follow the inhale to lean back to reverse warrior. When you hit that limit there, on an inhale, stay tall, stretch further. On the exhale, see if you can bend into your front knee a touch more or soften that right hip. Do one more breath. Inhale and stretch as you press your feet down. Good. Come all the way back, warrior. Pull the front leg all the way straight for triangle pose. So strong legs, you're gonna hinge down, right hand towards the floor. And it can be always if you start high and then you just kind of work progressively deeper and deeper. Aware of your breath. Trying to make it an efficient challenge. That if you can relax somewhere while holding the actions and holding the pose vibrant and full, that will do you good. Good. From there, send the legs back down to the floor, up to stand. Turn your feet, we're going to the other side. So the right foot turns in, the left foot turns out. Warrior two. And take your time to get precise, to get everything set up. As if you can create a buoyancy inside with the way you hold yourself. It's even influenced by the attitude, by how you think about this, how you approach the challenge. On the inhale, lean back to reverse warrior, left arm high to the sky. Stretch further on that next breath. On the exhale, soften your left hip. Maybe you lifting and stretching through the spine. Enjoy it. One more big inhale. And then all the way back to warrior two. Nice. From there, straighten your left leg. Firm legs, triangle pose. And you can adjust, you can change your stance. Especially on a first practice in a space, I'm always a fan of just going a little bit slower. So you train the system in the way that you want it to go when we speed things up. We want precision. We want that great care. Push the pelvis down to open the chest even more. And then back up to stand. All right, step your feet all the way back together. So from here, standing position, I'm going to bend your right knee, reach back behind you and grab the foot. So I'll try to show you, and I'm mirroring this. So it's easier easier for you to get the heel towards the outer edge of your hip. And then keep that. Push down. The standing leg is going to help you. Try to stretch the knee towards the floor. You can do a little like you pull up on your foot, but think on the front side of that leg, the skin moves down towards the kneecap. Your belly on that right side pulls up. Good. When you can go deeper than that, the leg can stretch. The knee can go beyond or past that bottom leg as you hold. Good. Let's just do that much, release it and shake it out. Some of the details, like if you're fairly flexible, people kind of will lose what you're trying to be able to do. But there's little subtlety. You do this. So grab onto your left foot, pull the heel in, and you really should, when the knee is be able to touch the butt or get really darn close to it. Knee forward. And then push down this way, pull up. And see if you can go further. You can grab with whatever hand you need to, but you're trying to take and stretch the knee back. So you're getting deep extension in that bent leg, belly and heart to the sky. If you dare, you can try looking up. But stay firm, stay anchored in your base here. Good. All right, release, shake it out. So now we'll do back to the first side. So hold your right leg, right foot with the right hand, left arm up to the sky. So trying to stay more upright in your upper body as you do this pose, you're going to press your foot into your hand, trying to lift the ceiling. There's a little tipping forward. You can use your straight arm as a counterbalance. Soft eyes, steady eyes, and a steady breath. If you're having a hard time, if you bend your standing leg a little, you'll feel the ground in your bottom foot a little easier. Heel heavy as you add a little more power. One more breath. Good, all the way back up. Ooh, good. And then second side. So you're holding the left foot, your right arm is up. instead of just tipping forward like is commonly done, think it's more like up dog or cobra in the upper body. So it's much more active for you to stay that lifted as you tip into this. The outer left hip rolls down to keep the hip square. Feel like you're trying to drive your heel, your foot up to the ceiling as you hold. And then one more big breath. Good. All the way up to stand. Shake it out. And then back to top of your mat, front of your mat. Pause so the feet are heavy on the ground. Inhale, and then stretch up. Exhale, dive forward, touch the mat. As you inhale, look up and lengthen. Bottom of a push-up, you could jump, you could step. You could always go right back to down dog. Through cobra, upward dog, and downward dog. Take your right leg to the sky, bend the knee, roll the hip open for a big twist. Similar to that standing dancing pose we did, try to pump through your back, that lifted foot, that lifted heel to stretch deeper. Step forward into a lunge. Come on up. Arms can be by your side for the easiest form. Over your head, a little more challenging. Reach forward, step up, so you're balancing. Keeping the chest tall, this would make it a lot easier. Thinking about your back leg driving the bow, not dropping your chest, but actually trying to lift into the back hamstring, back leg a little bit more. Take both hands to the floor, standing splits. From here, push down into that bottom foot. Leg roll out as you try to separate the legs a little bit wider. Then now, just see if you can keep your leg up there. Keep pushing down through the bottom. Roll your top leg in, attempting to get the hips all the way squared. You can even overdo that, and you may feel that move into different parts of your standing hamstring. And roll open, maybe you catch some groin. Roll in, seeing if you can maintain the height in the top leg. One more time, roll open. Drive through both legs, and then roll in. Oh, good, all the way back. Down dog or vinyasa. You can even throw in a little hop towards handstand. Take your left leg to the sky when you're back in your dog pose. Bend the knee and turn it open, twist. Stretch down through the arms. Lunge, high lunge, come on up. Again, arms can be by the sides. You can choose to take them overhead. Into your front leg to step up to a warrior 3 version. Really think muscles in your back leg turned on, the muscles in your glutes and even into your low back. All strong, all supporting you here. Keep the length, fold the hands to the floor, standing splits. Push the bottom foot down as you roll and open up. So you're kind of using you'll bias different muscles, different areas, different parts. You just kind of change the challenge. And then see if you can keep the top leg up high there. Roll. Turn your get them. Again, inhale, roll. And then roll. Square things back in as much as you can. Find the challenge carefully, mindfully. You try to hold yourself in those moments of it. It's not all about pain. Pain is not always, or deep discomfort in the stretch. It's like finding the intelligence in your body, helping it to open up. Hands can go to the floor for a little hop out of here, vinyasa if you want. Nice. And then take your knees down to the floor. So we're going to go right arm underneath. I'll face you so you can see. So we're going to come down onto your right shoulder. Come down onto the cheek and the side of the head. Couple breaths. You can slide the arm through even deeper and try to roll back, but be patient. Twists are especially require that sensitivity, that softening. You can't rush, you can't force into twists. Good. Get to the point where you can settle, where the skin feels like it's soft without shrinking your body space, your inner body. Come on out. Nice. And then the other side. Left arm through. Such a simple cue. It's such a profound cue to enjoy your breath. When you're in a pose, when you're not sure what's next, making it like the art of enjoying your breathing can change so many elements. It softens the mind. It affects the skeletal system, the musculoskeletal system. It can serve to make these poses kind of have the desired effect that we're looking for. Come on out, back to hands and knees. Good. And then from there back to downward dog. Take your right leg up to the sky. Get a shot at that twist again. Bend the knee. Roll the legs open. And then bring the knee forward so you're coming into a pigeon pose. I recommend, first of all, your knee really much wider than your hip is. The rest, crank your front leg forward so that you have some strength to pull the legs together to rise up into square. You can take your arms over your head. You can use them to check, are your hips actually level? And then find how much effort do you need to pull to create that squared hips, that balance? Or the arms could reach up and help to stretch you a little further back, a little bit deeper. Give it one more big breath, big pull in, knees together, chest lifts. And then, this is hard if you want to try, without your hands, can you hold that strength to bow forward? You can totally pull and keep your hips lifted as you start to hover down. So this is terrible, but you can do a couple little pulses here. Glutes lift. So the strength in that hip is going to it's going to open this hip up, but yeah, it makes you work. After you get in there, do come down onto your elbows after a certain point. And feel free to explore twists or different positions with your upper body. I think it's always good to pause in the center just to make sure, are you settled? How do you feel? Are you underworking or overworking? This pose tends to be more we get a little passive in it. So you kind of see if you can still have some control, some of that pulling in of your leg muscles, that drawing together of your knees. Let's do the twist together. So we're going to walk over towards that front leg, your right leg. See if you can kind of line up so you get your belly button and your chin of your thigh and lay down. If it's too much, stay in the middle, but this gives lots of compression. It gives some body weight to that front hip capsule. And it's the balance, the dance between pulling your legs together, that engagement, and settling and getting heavier and allowing the muscles in the joint capsule even to get a little more stretch, a little more in there. Again, if it's hard, enjoy your breath. Make it that game, that practice. Good. Come back to center. And back to downward dog. Left leg to the sky. Bend the knee, roll the hip open. And then all the way through Pigeon Pose. Pull the legs together. Sit up tall. And you might choose to go a little milder today. You had a rough day or your energy is low. It doesn't have to be like the deepest pose, but the balance between the actions is what we're going for. So you got to be able to pull in and root down. That creates the lift. That creates that big opening. The arms can reach back. You have all these options, but a strong base allows that freedom through your spine. See if you can do that. If you can fold without touching the hands, you got to pull and think about lifting the sit bones up, especially on the front leg as you fold down. You can kind of test that a couple times. And this puts the onus on not just on flexibility, because if you have flexibility, range of motion, but you can't stabilize that range of motion, then your flexibility becomes, a potential for injury. You can come on down once you're ready. And by just doing these kind of physical poses and really paying attention, you will gain a lot of those insights. It's always interesting to me, whatever daily things you're doing, whatever, going for a hike, and like all the little things that once you get moving, you'll start to feel in your body, you'll start to find. And the way the mind, the way everything can react to that. Settle your breath. A focused effort. It's such a gift for your mind to slow things down. All these, elements of ways that we meditate, where we place our attention on a single spot. We learn to not be distracted by all the things that are there to distract us. To not be worried even when we do get distracted. To not be distracted that you're distracted. So we're going to come up just enough that you can make some room to do that twist. So walk towards your left leg, trying to get your belly. There really is a turn of your ribs. And then belly button and chest right down in line with that left thigh. And then make your way back to center. And back to downward dog. Take a moment here if you want to do a pose, if you want to go through a vinyasa, whatever feels good for you, to you. And then walk to the front of your mat. A moment to breathe, to bow here. And then make your way to lay down, all the way down on your back. Set the feet so they're hip distance apart. And then you can, to initiate this, if you drag your heels isometrically, so they don't move, but you're kind of dragging your feet towards your butt, keep your belly pulled in, and that should lift your low back. That should anchor your sit bones, your butt down into the floor even more. So keep that. Just make sure the belly is pulled in so you have, because you're putting strength on both the front and the back side of your torso. And then get the arms set by the sides, press down with the head, with the arms. Puff your chest up first, then lift your hips. You have options here. You can keep the arms in this kind of cocked robot arm position. You can karate chop down into the floor, but can you bring more lift into the base of the heart? Can you bring more fullness and space there? Not just cranking your butt up to the sky, but puffing the lungs up, making the rib cage fuller. You can stay here. You can try variations. You can bend your right knee into your chest. Take the right heel to the sky. Again, not letting the chest sag. You got to keep the arms pushing down, the head pushing down to create that. If you did the one leg variation, bring the foot to the floor. Try the other side. Left knee in, left foot up. Big full chest. And then foot to the floor. Keep your chest up, take your butt to the floor so you put that curve, that arch in the back. And then widen the feet apart. Pivot your legs side to side, a few little windshield wipers. We're going to keep the knees, so I'll turn your knees to the right, and then place your right foot on top of the left knee. You can let the legs fall to the ground for a milder form. Don't hurt your left knee. If you want a little more intensity, lift your right knee up and extend, stretch through the left leg, as if you're trying to press the thigh out towards your kneecap. Good. And then place the feet back wide on your mat, about edges of your mat. Go the other way, knees to the left, left foot on top of your right leg. Again, you can let the left knee drop to the floor, but if you lift the left knee up, make this a little deeper, a little more even in both sides here. And then back to center. Crossing your right ankle. You're going to go right ankle over left knee. And then reach through, grab your left leg. So you can go behind the thigh like this, or a little deeper. Grab your left shin and pull that leg in. Then with your right leg, fire up the toes. Try to push, create some resistance. This leg pushes away, and your hands can gently pull in a little bit more. Nice work. Switch sides. So reach through and grab your right leg. Again, it can just be here. This is plenty for most. It can be here too. And as you pull the leg in, push with your legs to resist that. Your left knee moving away from your body as you bring the legs in closer. Remember, enjoy your breath. Good. And then release both knees into your chest. Give them a hug. Wrap your right knee on top of your knee, seeing if you can cinch them together like that. You can try to squeeze your ankles together. Some of you can take your toes, your right toes, and hook them behind your left leg. From here, arms out in a big T. Take your legs over to the left. Enjoy the breath. Make the breath help create even more length in the right side of your body. To send the signal to your system just to settle. And then bring the legs back up through center. Switch the cross. Left knee on top. Maybe you get both feet in, but don't force it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Legs over to the right. Breathe into those tight spots. Soften any tension that doesn't belong there. Like, are your hands tense? Is your face engaging in ways that doesn't need to be? Good. And then knees back in. Give yourself one last hug, knees to chest. You can gently rock. Take hold of your feet for happy baby pose. So separating the feet wide, gently pull down with your hands as you press your feet back, up. There's versions you can do. You can bend your legs more. If you bring your heels towards your butt, it'll pull up more. And then even very opposite of that, you can go straighter in the legs where you hold the heels. And you kind of play this game of pulling the feet toward the floor, trying to push the butt to the floor. Good. And then from there, release the legs all the way out. You're always welcome to also, or optionally, come to a seated position for seated meditation. Make sure as you get comfortable, as you get positioned, that you are still aware of the posture that you are taking here. Trying to keep the balance. As you become more settled, your breath will naturally quiet. It will naturally become more shallow. You can just notice those things. And can you release your weight even heavier into the mat, into the ground? Softening the eyes, making it as if the bottom eyelid takes up more of the space of your eyes, and the eyes themselves sink down heavier. Skin on your face, your forehead, between your eyes, all as relaxed as you can. And the sensitivity to notice when you lose that. It's very tricky to totally let go. And that's the challenge in this pose. Begin to deepen your breath, to move, to stretch. Taking your time to come all the way back to a seated position. And sitting up tall. Steady, but with that fullness inside. This way that you honor yourself, you glorify your physical form. A clear attitude that is seen in the way you hold your posture. To that, bring your hands together, undulate in front of your heart. See if you can soften in the hands, if you can really feel the pressure between each finger. Make the space of the hands a little softer, a little more separated. Enjoy a moment here to breathe as you lift your heart up towards your hands. This heart gesture that you're making with your hands. And to a clear mind, to an uplifted heart. And deeply grateful. Take a deep breath in. And to your lifted heart, you can bow. Namaste.